I just want to say we're so passionate about classic movies. We're going to expand the conversation.
You can see the passion that's in this room.
It's thrilling to the core.
Put a new spin on some vintage films.
It's classic movies and more.
Welcome to Classic Movies and More. Hi, I'm Rob and I'm joined by
Aurora, and we're here with Tom and Martha Swanzey.
It's movie night. Let's find out what movie night entails. So tell us, how'd you guys start this movie night with all your friends and everybody coming over?
Well, it was kind of my idea initially because I realized that with our dearest friends, we would think that we would get together over the holidays. And yet that's absolutely the worst time to get together. So I figured, let me think of a way which we can come together on a monthly basis and also on the holidays if possible. Mm-hmm. And this started out, I guess, about 10 years ago, and we've been on a roll.
Wow, but why classic movies? Why not a game night or something? Why movies?
Because of my love of movies, and obviously, I mean, we've invited a lot of people who have come once and not again, but these people have been coming on a regular basis, and so they share this same love of classic movies that we do. When I was a child, I remember the first movie I was telling Aurora that I saw that really made an impact on me was The Bigamist with Evan O'Brien and Ida Lupino. And I remember walking home. It was, I think it was on a Wednesday. You paid a quarter, and walking home, and I just, my mind was blown from that movie. We did show that movie a number of years ago, so I was seeing it then, basically for the second time. And it's an incredible how, you know, as you live life and you see, you know, the different things that go on in the culture and so on and so forth. I just have to say this too. I do believe that secular humanism comes down through the arts. These movies are that important, and even the old ones, even the classic ones. As somebody used to say, they're not old, they're classic.
Absolutely. You haven't seen them, then you've never seen them before.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I just read a quote by Lauren Bacall. She said, if you haven't seen it, it's not old.
Wow, I like that.
Right?
We should tell it to our kids. That's excellent.
That's right.
Tom, I'm sorry, I took over.
Well, no, you said pretty much what the reason is. I've also, at the university, I've taught film, so that, in fact, on one occasion I went into a class and I said to them, how come you folks are so interested in film? And there were about 20 people in the class, and so I started talking about film. Basically, bathtub scum, pond scum, and other forms of film. And somebody said, I thought this was about movies. Well, it was a joke, obviously. Right.
Hopefully you brought Clorox.
Right. No, and of course what we tried to do is to make it thematic. That's why it's March.
Okay.
And, well, we're not showing an Irish film. We're kind of out of sync in that respect. Though it is partially set in Trinity College, but not the real Trinity College, right, Juan? In Dublin, but in Cambridge. But each month we try to give a film that is somewhat related to the time. For example, February would be Valentine's, so we'll show a romantic movie. Right. During July, whatever, something patriotic, something like that. Yeah. During the holidays, a holiday type movie. So it's always sort of thematic, and we make our house. We try to put, you know, put in this case shamrocks and such.
So then, since you brought it up, who picks the movies each time?
Well, I'm always open for any kind of suggestions. But it's on my mind 24/7.
All right. Do you get suggestions a lot from the crew?
Yes, I do. I do.
Yeah, the crew is behind us.
There's
Some of the crew is behind us. By the way,
Suggestions.
since you mentioned it's March, it's Women's History Month, so it's a great shout out to Ida Lupino.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Bigamist.
yes.
Yeah, she's
Pioneer,
She's
important
incredible.
filmmaker.
Yeah, and the director too.
Talented, yeah. So, just wanted to say that.
Yeah, and of course we, it was only last week that one of our favorite people, Robert Osborne, died. So, you know, God bless him, and we say a prayer for Robert.
Yeah, wonderful man. I had the opportunity to meet him a few times, casually. But as I mentioned to you, when he talked to you, you were the only person in the room. Just warm, just a gentleman. So a huge loss for the classic film community, I think.
Absolutely.
In fact, we were talking about Ben Mankiewicz yesterday, and how his father, was it Frank Mankiewicz?
Yeah.
Yes.
He was the director of the Peace Corps in...
Yeah.
Yes, one of our friends actually was serving in the Peace Corps, or whatever, in Peru, and hadn't had a shower for 3 months, and walked into the Peace Corps headquarters in Lima, and said, "We need a shower." And Frank Mankiewicz came out and said, "Okay, guys, I'll take care of you."
Oh, I love that story. Wonderful. That's wonderful. I had a question for you, because we work at the same university, Fairleigh Dickinson University, and we talk film all the time. I mean, it seems like every conversation we start, whether it's a serious student issue or whatever it ends up
She
being
knows more
about
than I
movies.
do.
I don't know a lot, but you do. And you told me an interesting story about when you can't fall asleep at night, you don't count sheep. What is it exactly that you do?
Well, one of the things I do, in fact, my colleague, who's my co-author in a couple of books, Bob Lynch, and I made the mistake of telling him that I try to go to sleep by naming movies in alphabetical order, one word. A movie like Clute or something like that, for K.
Okay.
And so I try to do it, A and all the way. It's very difficult after a while, And so he was so hooked by that. He'd call me up in the middle of the night and say, "You got anything for Q?"
To wake you up.
But it's not only alphabetical. I mean, you really do like really serious themes.
Oh, it could be anything. It could
I think
it could be war movies, romantic movies, anything.
One day you told me about trying to figure out all of the Hitchcock movies where people were pushed and fell.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty great,
right.
Because you're a big Hitchcock fan, I should mention.
And I gave you, remember that little quiz in which
Yes.
you were very good. I gave you all the hints that suggested North by Northwest, and you got it. It
That's
wasn't
right.
North by
No,
Northwest.
it was
It was
the 39 steps.
That's
right.
right. Yes.
Yeah, I love Hitchcock too, so we have that in common.
Speaking of that, then give me some of your guys' favorite films, favorite directors.
Well, we were talking about, just before you did this, we were talking about Joel McCrea. So one of my favorite Hitchcock movies is Foreign Correspondent
What a
with Joel
wonderful-
McCrea.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Where Santa Claus falls off the tower.
Oh yes, that's right. Right, all the way down. They try to push him down. Well,
One of those
down,
famous Hitchcock POV.
Yeah, there's so
shots.
many scenes in which Hitchcock used falling.
Yeah.
People falling off of things, whether it's Empire State Building, not the Empire State Building, Statue of Liberty, excuse me.
Yeah.
Or the monuments,
Yeah.
Rushmore, or in
The
Honey
Psycho
West.
House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Vertigo.
What do you think that
falling.
is?
I think he had a
Phobia?
he had
Fear?
some kind of a fear. Yeah.
That's very
About
possible.
falling. Yeah. Absolutely.
But again, interesting thing to take a look at and analyze. Because there's so many things about classic film that are there, but always there's a nugget comes as you watch it and see something else,
You
something
see-
different. It just
look at it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and I think we could improve in our discussion and critique at the end of the movie.
We'll talk about that. What is the discussion and critique section of the
That's
portion of
up
the
to them.
program?
Those folks back there are supposed to say things, clever things. Joe, come on, chime in.
Yeah, we
here.
need a format, I think a better format, so we're looking for improvement.
We're
in
still
that
talking
regard.
about favorite movies.
Oh,
Yes,
okay,
right.
yes.
What is the
we are.
current format for the discussion?
Well, after the movie, we'll shut the projector off, and then simply discuss but we don't have a really
Well,
specific.
we try to do that. We try to get something, a film that can elicit conversation and discussion, and without getting into fights. That happened a couple of times.
Yes, actually, yeah.
Let's hear one of those stories.
It tends to be political and verbal,
Yeah,
not
a
actual.
little-
And in the summertime, we have a blow-up, one of these blow-up gigantic screens that we put out in the backyard, and it's a little difficult getting the cars in there, so put the old, it's a joke.
He'll be
Yeah.
performing at Caroline's all next
He's too young to
weekend.
know about driving
Yeah,
movies.
drive-in movies, but we do.
Right.
Just get golf carts. Just
Yeah.
scale
Joe,
it
you
down.
were going to say something, please.
Oh no, the favorite movies, okay, but I have a rather idiosyncratic love of movies. Enchanted Cottage, I Know Where I'm Going, movies of that sort. Laura.
Okay.
Laura.
Oh, Laura. Wonderful.
Yeah, classic,
Yeah,
definitely.
I was telling Aurora also, I like Waterloo Bridge, you know, with Vivian Leigh and Robert Taylor. And she told me that there was a film out, which was also Waterloo Bridge,
Right.
before the code came out.
Yeah, the pre-code, which is wonderful. It's
What
great.
year was that?
Oh gosh, pre-code era, but I don't remember, 31, 32.
And she said some of the pre-code era films would not be seen on Turner Classics today.
No.
I mean,
Well, they do. No, TCM does show those. I mean, they have theme months and
Sure.
theme nights where they will show them. But I mean, some of them are racy
Yeah.
enough to be questionable today.
Right,
They
exactly.
did wonderful things. Strong women, like you didn't see in subsequent years for many years after the code came out or was enforced. Yeah, those are wonderful.
One of
films, the
our
pre-codes.
one of our colleagues, Eric Goldman, was with Robert Osborne about a year and a half ago. He was introducing Jewish films,
Right.
right? So he did
The
Exodus,
Jewish experience,
the
they
Jewish
called it, yeah.
experience, right? And that Eric is also you should talk to Eric a little bit more. He met Robert also. You know.
Well, I've talked to him extensively. I mean, every time I see him, I'm a big fan of his too. I mean, I turn into a geek, like I said. Anybody who's ever been on television, oh my goodness.
Turns into.
Yeah.
How about you other
so-
folks? Anything else? Trouty.
I was just gonna say, it's interesting for me to see the immigration-based movies. We didn't have anything like this in London, so when I came here, what was it called? A Tree Grows in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I remember Mama.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, fun.
and to see how people dressed and how they took life very seriously. And you had a great sense of humor and the relationship between the families and neighbors and friends. And I often wonder what New York was really like in those days to live in.
Makes you want to go back and experience it,
would.
right?
I would like to see how it was. But
That's
the movies
wonderful,
are a
right?
good secondary experience for them.
Absolutely. If you can't be there, at least you can see the window as things
Yes.
transpire.
Well, it's a great, yeah, it holds up the mirror to society, you know. I mean, I look at them as my history lesson because I never liked history in school. So this is it. This is where I get it.
Well, Irving Berlin said everybody should have a Lower East Side in their life.
That's right.
Love that quote.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. In closing, anything you guys want to touch upon before we actually start movie night?
Well, first of all, thank you. very
Yes,
much.
thank you so much.
Well, thank you for
Yes,
doing this. This
and
is
now
so fun.
I must have a treasure trove of movies that you can recommend also.
Sure,
So
sure.
That's
Back
good.
up.
I'd be happy to.
Back up.
Absolutely. Well,
One other thing,
yes, sir.
Yes.
the interview to continue after the movie. All those people that are drinking themselves silly will have a lot of things to
Oh,
say.
good. I can't
There's
wait.
nothing better on film than people who...
I can't wait.
Right.
Yeah, I have to get to my glass of wine.
Well, they're
Okay.
coming. They're coming back in the summertime.
Yeah,
Yes.
And
yeah.
then they'll be out there, so we're going to be interviewing more.
Yeah.
On that note, you guys will see us again sometime July, August, once we hit that. For Aurora, I'm Rob Madaska. This has been Classic Movies and More. This has been the Swanzeys at Swansea Movie Night, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.